Well, I've done a video similar to this before, top 10 favorite anime characters or whatnot, but this is different. This time I'm changing it up a little bit, and I'm changing my character roster quite a bit. I'm gonna have a rule though. Now, this is my top 10 favorite anime characters of all time, no movie characters. I love the movie anime characters like Tetsuo Shima and a lot of the Miyazaki run of characters, but I'm not going to have any in this video. Also, one character per anime franchise, so there's not going to be any duplicates. Say, there's so many characters in DBZ, and you could all place them on a list of their own. I'm not going to be doing that here. Anyway, let's get things started, and let's start listing this shit. Let's go. Mr. 10's top 10 favorite anime characters of all time. Let's hit it!
Card I pulled is my third Blue Eyes White Dragon! So, Yugi, draw your final card!
Number 10, I thought I would play us off with the anti-hero on the list. I'm gonna warn you, there's not gonna be very many main characters here. But, yeah, Seto freaking Kaiba. He is probably one of the more interesting characters out of Yu-Gi-Oh! And probably the most realistic and identifiable. Yeah, there's Jinochi, and then there's Yugi, Honda, and all the other characters, but you really don't give a shit about them that much. But when it comes to Kaiba, oh my god, you can't stop watching his movements. Plus, his personality is kind of that standoffish asshole attitude that everyone really seems to love and try to copy. Kaiba is what you call the Vegeta of the series, and let's just say that name isn't going to be the last time you hear it on the list. But yeah, Kaiba is freaking awesome, carrying around that loner attitude with that awesome 3 packs of Blue Eyes White Dragons. You can't help but love this dude, and he's not a complete dickhead. He's got morals. He does have affection for his little brother Mokuba, even though in Season 0 he gladly put his brother in a little bit of a fucking penalty game just to torture him for failing to beat Yugi, and he even states that he knew Mokuba would lose to Yugi, but that's just the kind of asshole Kaiba is. Preferably, I like his Season 0 counterpart because of how more sadistic the character actually is, but I've got to say, Kaiba is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie here, he is great. He's an enjoyment to watch almost every time you see him on screen, and you know he's gonna pull that fucking Blue Eyes White Dragon out. You want him to beat Yugi, you want him to take down the main villain, but like I said, he's the Vegeta of the series, he will always fall short into that department. I think, personally, the creator of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series hates Kaiba, but maybe he secretly likes him, I don't know. It could be like Akira Toriyama's feelings about Vegeta. Okay, let's move on to the next number.
Ranma, prepare to die!
Now we have Ryoga Hibiki from Ranma 1/2, and yeah, a lot of people kind of got upset that I didn't put Ranma in the underrated anime section, but that's the thing. A lot of people are talking about Ranma, and it's been remade lately and been brought out with a better physical release on Blu-ray and stuff. So, in my opinion, Ranma is not really that underrated anymore. Anyway, back to what I was saying, Ryoga freaking Hibiki. The character that always gets lost, he's kind of an idiot, and has a terrible sense of direction, and has a major love and is a major simp for the main female character of the series, Akane. You can't help but love this guy and his rivalry with Ranma. It is just a treat to watch. And honestly, I hate to say it, I think I identify a lot with Ryoga because I do have a really shitty sense of direction and I get lost very easily. I can't be easily fooled like Ryoga because, you know, he's kind of a fucking moron. But that's what makes him lovable. Almost any time he comes into the anime, I just enjoy it. I like watching him and Ranma fight, especially their first fight, which is the best fight, where he's an actual threat to Ranma instead of a comedic foil, is a lot of fun. Afterwards, Rumiko Takahashi just tried to play him as a comedic foil and always got his ass beat in the process of that. That is a pain in the ass and an insult to the character, but however, I like Ryoga when he first started out, and I still enjoy it when he comes onto the series. He's a fantastic written character, even if he's kind of stupid. Now let's talk about Rumiko Takahashi's best written character, fucking Sesshomaru. Who doesn't love this character? And I'm talking about early Sesshomaru, not the later season where he just abandons his family. Oh, God, I hate that version. I haven't even sat down to completely watch that version because it is complete garbage. But, however, Sesshomaru, when he started out, is and was the most interesting character of Inuyasha. He was kind of the Inuyasha you wanted to see, in a way. You see, he shows up, he beats the living piss out of Inuyasha, and he's probably physically the strongest character out of the entire series. He's just so much fun to watch, and that voice performance by David Kaye is fan-freaking-tastic. He makes Sesshomaru. I'm talking about the English voice. I don't know much about the Japanese version, even though I have heard his voice quite a bit. I'm so used to David Kaye's version that it just supplements into my mind automatically. I look at a picture of him, read the manga, I hear David Kaye's performance, so that voice dub choice was perfectly well picked. I know he was replaced in the later series of the final act with Michael Dangerfield, the voice of Gintoki in the English dub of Gintama, the good English dub anyway, and it is a pretty decent choice. But however, when it comes to Sesshomaru, he is just one of those badass characters that you just can't help but love. Even when he gets his own group with Rin and Jokin later, he is just a treat. Every time he's on screen, it's just mind-blowing. In fact, my favorite Inuyasha movie is Swords of an Honorable Ruler because it's basically his story about his feelings toward his father, and you get more into a dive deep into the character, and it's just a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie here. Sesshomaru is a fucking badass. He just makes Inuyasha for me. I am not a fan of Inuyasha, the character himself. I just don't give two shits if the character ups and dies. I wouldn't mind if Sesshomaru kills him off and then pretty much just takes over the show and they call it Sesshomaru. I would be happy with that. Right from the get-go, from his first introduction to his last of the original run, Sesshomaru is fucking badass, and I will stand by that. Okay, Kirei Kotomine from the Fate series. Now, I'm gonna tell you, this is the only main villain on my character list here. Now, there might be a character that used to be a villain or an anti-hero, but Kirei is a full-fledged, pure evil villain. And I'm not gonna lie saying he deserves this on the list, and it might disturb some of you about Kirei, but I sort of identify with this character. He's a character that lacks emotion or actual understanding of it, except for when things are going into his favor completely. Now, I'm not saying that's me now. I'm saying that's me more when I was a teenager and in my early 20s. I just identified with him because he couldn't cry or be saddened over the fact of some of his family's death. And the only fact he was saddened by it, well, I don't want to spoil that. Kirei is a very cold and ruthless character, and when he is just on screen, he's a treat to see. Hell, Heaven's Feel just had him eating fucking curry, and that was a treat to watch all in itself. Anytime he's on screen, it's great. But I'm mainly going to count his Fate Zero and Heaven's Feel counterpart. In Unlimited Blade Works, he gets shafted, and Fate Stay Night, he gets really shafted. Heaven's Feel finally focuses on his character from Fate Zero and plays it excellently. And need I say, the English dub performance of Crispin Freeman was unfucking believable. I could not believe what I was hearing. How he just brought the character to life. I know originally he was played by Jamison Price in the Fate Stay Night version, but Fate Stay Night version was good and he had a great voice, I won't lie. But Crispin Freeman fucking brought him to life and he embodied the character. It felt like the character had so much more essence than just being evil. But then again, it's Crispin Freeman, and I may simp for that voice. I'm not gonna lie. I might just be a simp for his voice, especially when he's voicing a villain. Kid A is very identifiable to me, and I don't think you're supposed to identify with this character, but I don't know, just something about him draws me to him. Luckily, he's low on the list, and he's staying on the list. Once in a while, he could be a good guy, or at least a decent guy, until the very end of Heaven's Feel, when he's sitting there waiting for his final battle with his nemesis. He considers himself the villain in his own story, and I can't help but agree. He's an excellently well-written character, and he's worthy of this spot. Let's move on. Finally, a female on my list. Allenby Beardsley from G Gundam is just great. And I'm not gonna lie to a lot of people, she is one of my very first anime crushes. Like, ever. So, don't judge me on that. I had a thing for her, and Allenby is just a lot of fun. Out of the G Gundam anime, out of all the characters, especially the female characters who seem to not have much personality outside of Rain, Allenby was able to finally give a good personality. In fact, out of most of the original Gundam series, most of the female leads lack personality and character until about Allenby was written. And she was written not just as a support team like Rain was in G Gundam, but as a Gundam pilot herself with a very dark story. A very interesting backstory with a unique power-up to her Berserker form, which increases her ability. She is head over heels in love with Domon Kashu, the main character of the series, and she has trouble understanding her emotions. She's actually one of the youngest characters in the show, and she's most skilled. In fact, most of the Shuffle Alliance out of G Gundam respect her, and they see her as more of a opponent and an equal, which I think is pretty cool. I put her up there with Schwartz and Master Asia on the power scale, but yeah, her character and personality is just enjoyable. Everyone else is trying to take themselves so seriously, while Allenby herself is just having a lot of fun. She sees the Gundam fight as more of a fun thing for her to play, especially after meeting Domon Kashu, where she sees it more as a game in their fight. Throughout most of the series, she is only fighting because she's told to. She's not fighting because she wants to. But after meeting Domon, she becomes more susceptible and enjoys it. She finally sees it more as a game, and she doesn't even need the Berserker system anymore after that. She is just a lot of fun and so well written, and she's just adorable in the process. Now, I wonder if I have any other female characters on here that can be kind of bitchy. Well, let's go on to the next one.
Off! Jeez, will you both quit bossing me around? I'll down the bitch when I'm good and ready!
Did I mention anime crushes? Well, Karinka from Steel Angel Kurumi does take the cake on that. Yeah, she was probably my biggest anime crush when I was a teenager, and a lot of that might have to be due to her personality and English voice work. Performed by the wonderful Hilary Haig, she just captures and embodies this character. Much like I said about Crispin Freeman embodying Kire Kotomine, Hilary Haig embodies Karinka. I mean, I cannot separate her voice from the character at all. I have the manga to Steel Angel Kurumi, and I still hear her voice when I read the manga. Karinka is, well, I guess better term of saying it, a bitch. She is also the Vegeta of the series too, the anti-hero. But it's her personality that puts her this high up on the list. Let's just say she goes from being a villain to a decent character but she retains her bitchiness afterwards. She is loud, eccentric, hateful. She will cuss like a sailor. I enjoy every second with her on screen. When I first watched Steel Angel Kurumi, one of my best friends gave me the DVD set, and the first few episodes I was like, it's alright so far, it's kind of funny, I guess I like Saki. But then Karinka showed up and she just upstaged everyone and just took over the entire series to me. To me, she is the winning piece of the entire Steel Angel Kurumi manga. She's funny, she could be serious, she could be badass, and most of all, she's just hilarious in that fact. And she's just adorable. I just love this adorable looking character that has to compensate for her cute and shortness with her really bad fucking attitude. And as I said before, she's not the only character on the list that does this. Next is Sakata Gentoki, or Gentiki, because in my one dub battle, a lot of people threw a bitch fit because apparently I insulted the pronunciation. And for those people that were commenting, well, I'm gonna say this to you.
Eat my ass!
Sir, do not make me use enhanced interrogation techniques.
Eat my ass!
Yeah, you guys want to make somebody that has pronunciation problems, like he said, eat my ass. Anyhow, Gentoki is a lazy, good-for-nothing guy that can be badass when he needs to be, but I think I like his lazy personality more so than his badass one. But let me get this down to it, mainly because it reminds me of myself. Yes, Gentoki loves to read manga, rent videotapes, watch movies, chill out, and he's trying to scrounge around to get his last bit of food. That's pretty much me. He has a massive sweet tooth, and honestly, that's pretty much his personality in a nutshell. And unfortunately, that's me, minus the sweet tooth with salt. Yeah, his sweet tooth could give El Ryuzaki from Death Note a run for his fucking money. As much sweets as he loves to eat. He has an affinity love for strawberry milk, which in itself is just great. Also, he's just extremely funny. I mean, Gintama is supposed to be one of those animes that are parodying. And it's a parody anime. That's what it is. Basically take Rurouni Kenshin, which it does with the sword band going on. Take the other animes from that, like Bleach and etc. Mix them all together. Make them funny. You've got Gintama. But Gentoki can become serious and awesome when he needs to be. And personally, I absolutely love his personality. Even when he fights, he acts like he just doesn't care. But he does get serious when he has to be. He's just fantastic, a treat to watch, that's all I'm going to say, and honestly, he's worthy of the number 4 spot. Let's move on to the top 3, because these are the big ones, everyone. Let's continue.
I've got just one condition. This attack stays our little secret.
Oh yeah. Fucking Ikkaku Madarame from Bleach. Who the hell doesn't love this dude? And unfortunately, I think he was just overshadowed by so many other characters. That's why a lot of people don't put them on their favorite list. For me, he's on my favorite list, and he's on there for a good while, too. He's always been in my top 3 characters. I fucking love this dude. Like Gintoki himself, or Gentiki, he can pretty much take a moment, make it serious, or make it extremely funny. Ikkaku is more of the exaggerated, over-the-top character when he's out of his fight mode. When he's out of his fight mode, he's loud, he's eccentric, and he could be just extremely goofy. His temper is just what's funny, too. I mean, I love when what's his name calls him bald, and he's like, "I'm not bald, damn it!" It's just great. He has great chemistry with his partner also, and it's fun to watch them work off each other when they're not in their squad zone. But then Ikkaku in battle mode is just fucking fantastic. The dude is so badass, he actually can use Bankai, and he could use it the entire time. He just prefers not to because he doesn't want the responsibility of being a leader. He wants to die under Kenpachi Zaraki's order, and I find that so much more honorable. And unlike so many of the other characters, you find out that he's not fighting for honor or any kind of code like that. He's just fighting for the hell of it. He's fighting for fun or fighting for sport. He's also honorable. He likes to know the name of his opponents before he takes them down, and he's just a really good treat to watch. A lot of his scenes make Bleach for me. For a while, I hated the very first season of Bleach. I still do to this day. Don't care for the season of Bleach Season 1. But when Season 2 rolls around, the Soul Society arc, and we're introduced to the other characters out of the Soul Society, I'm hooked in. And Ikaku was absolutely no exception. He was excellent. Let's go on to number 2.
No, of course not. I simply want to know the truth of the matter, that's all.
Number 2. Inspector Heinrich Lunge from Monster. Now, Monster is one of those series that takes itself really seriously and has a really serious premise, with a very large roster of characters that are all really likable. In Monster, the characters you're supposed to like, you like. The characters you're supposed to hate, you hate. And the characters you're supposed to really endure and enjoy that steal the scenes, they do so. And Inspector Lunge is only a side character, but yet he could have been the main character. He started out as a detective that was obsessed with his job. In fact, he is just beyond obsessed with his job. He does a typing thing, and he forgets absolutely nothing. He can continue to keep his memory flowing, which he calls his hard drive. He's just a very interesting character. He's very dedicated to his job. He lives for his job. It's all that he has left in his life. He was so obsessed with work that his own wife and daughter left him alone, and he showed little to no emotion. In fact, that's just how he works. He shows little to no emotion. He's so addicted to his job that you can't really not like the guy. You have to see that he has passion for his work, but he's so robotic and so emotionless that you kind of feel sorry that he doesn't get to enjoy the fruits of his labor or anything like that. He's just so addicted. Even when he's not working and he's on his day off at home, he's working. When he's on vacation working. He starts out in the series accusing the main character of causing the murders at the hospital, and he tries to pursue him, and he does pursue him. Think of L. Ryuzaki, but even more addicted to his job than L. Yeah, that's Inspector Lunge. He will do whatever it takes to complete his work, even if it sacrifices his entire happiness in the process of that. And when he finally starts to believe Dr. Tenma, he becomes a much moral written character, and he does feel bad. He believes he doesn't make any mistakes. He doesn't keep anything saved on a computer or anything like that, or on a tape recorder. He keeps it all in his head, which makes him so much more interesting. My God, I could go on and on about this character, and the reason he's number 2 is, well, he reminds me a lot of myself, especially with my job. I get obsessed with my work a lot of times, and I can throw myself into it, and a lot of that has to put you to emotionless. Plus, I have a memory just like Inspector Lunge's. It just kind of sticks with me. I don't forget anything, I don't forget names, and I don't forget faces. In fact, when I deal with a lot of customers, they're really surprised that I remember who they are, or by their face, or what they left in the store. But anyhow, yeah, Inspector Lunge is just the best portion of Monster to me. He is incredible. I could watch him over and over again. He steals the entire show for me, and you do feel for him. At first, they try to make you think that you won't like this character at all, but then you continue to watch him evolve and get more into the story, then you can't help but loving him. Every time he's on screen, even at the beginning when on a rewatch, I just smile. And he's performed by voice actor Richard Epcar, who just captures his voice epically. Richard Epcar was amazing in this role. I couldn't even believe it was him because he was doing such a different performance. And honestly, it's probably my favorite role of Richard Epcar's ever. If you don't know who he does the voice work of, say, Ansem from Kingdom Hearts, Bato from Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, and etc. This role is his best work, and in my opinion, will always remain his best role. Inspector Lunge is very identifiable to me and to a lot of other people. He is just a badass fucking character, and he's worthy of being number 2. But if he's number 2, who could be number 1? Well, this one is gonna be very obvious to people that are on my Twitter or YouTube, so don't be disappointed. Number 1 is the Prince of all Saiyans himself, Vegeta. How can you not love this little bastard of a character? Vegeta was one of the very first characters that I picked out of Dragon Ball Z and instantly just loved him right off. I mean, his asshole attitude right from the start. And the very first episode of DBZ I watched was Vegeta vs. Raccoon, the Ocean dub. So yeah, you guys know that I'm fucking old if I watched the old airing of the Ocean dub. However, he just steals the show, being the best portion of Dragon Ball Z, and being probably the best anime character written on my list. He's a smug, arrogant character, and he started off as a main villain. Then he decided to become an anti-hero, and he just sticks with the anti-hero run until the end of the Buu Saga. Vegeta doesn't become a good guy until the end of Z, basically after he defeats Kid Buu. He then falls into the evil category again when he becomes Majin Vegeta, when he's basically just throwing a fit because he wants to fight Goku before his one day is up. Vegeta is the most interesting DBZ character, or probably the most interesting anime character out there. So many characters are written that are basically similar to Vegeta's story, like Seto Kaiba, like I said, Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho, Knuckles Iakinda from the Sonic series. You've got to know that a lot of people write around or basically are inspired by Vegeta. And I'm not going to say that they're knockoff characters. No, they're inspirations. Akira Toriyama was able to inspire a lot of people when he created Vegeta. Vegeta is just a very interesting character. He has a dark side to him, but he can be a more humanizing side too. He is just a badass in general. He becomes the anti-hero that they kind of just stick around, and all around until around the end, he becomes an all-around good guy, finally. It's just so great to watch, and I love his personality. Yeah, he's cocky, brash, rude, and hateful, but still, he does work on that. He doesn't stay that way. After being with Bulma, he kind of just ditches her after knocking her up, but still, afterwards, he gets back with her after Z, and they kind of have a family together again, having a daughter named Bula, and etc. In Dragon Ball Super, he shows that he really loves his family. They finally make some defining moments for Vegeta in Super, and that's about the only decent thing I like out of Super. However, yeah, he is worthy of being number 1 on the list. The Prince of all Saiyans will sit on my list for a long time, and he will always be number 1. He has been number 1 since I was 8 years old, and he will remain number 1. So that's my top 10 favorite anime characters of all time. Did you enjoy this list? Let me know in the comments. If there's another top 10 list you guys want me to do, like I said, comments. And always remember, I'm listening.
I'm Richard Epcar. Like and subscribe to Mr. Tim's YouTube. Thank you.